All right, so you own an old Benelli M1 or you've got an M2, and for whatever reason, the forend wobbles side to side, even if just a hair. Or maybe it moves up and backwards a little bit. I've got a couple of solutions for these problems. We're going to talk about it in this video. Let's get started right now. Hey folks, welcome to the Freedom Fighter Tactical YouTube channel. I am Todd and I started and have been running Freedom Fighter Tactical since 2008, 2009 officially, and we specialize in parts for the Benelli M Series Shotguns, particularly the M4, but we have done a lot of work for the M1 and M2, and today's video concerns both the M1 and the M2. I know there's a lot of people out there who have forends and they live with them. They have forends on their M4 that kind of go side to side or maybe up and back, and it's just enough to be aggravating. And for most people who have these shotguns, it's because they bought it secondhand, and they bought it that way. Maybe they got it. Hopefully, you wrap that into the deal. The fact that the forend was a little loose, and maybe took a few bucks off the purchase price. But particularly with the M1, there's a lot of older M1s around, and people are living with a slightly wobbly forend. So we're going to talk about it. I've got this is an Freedom Fighter Tactical original forend right here that we made. Actually, is it? Actually, this is not. This is an OEM forend. I do have Freedom Fighter, and I know this one's an OEM. It's just what I had, and it was easy to find. So anyway, I've got two OEM forends here. Freedom Fighter Tactical makes the forends for this gun, and they're beautiful. In fact, I think they're even better because the checkering is nicer, and we use a higher glass concentrate in our nylon, which makes them stronger and more heat resistant and all that. But technically, I guess you could say over-engineered a little bit, but the Freedom Fighter Tactical forends are gorgeous. I just happen to have these handy in my office here. So let's talk about the M2 first, okay? The M2, this is the inside. In fact, I don't know what that says. Made in USA, but this one has not been made in USA. I think this was a part that we were using when we were considering making an M2 forend, and that's where we wanted to stamp Made in USA, which I think is where we stamped it. I can't recall. But anyway, this piece has not been made in USA because, as you can see, it says Benelli right here. So this is the interior of a Benelli M2 shotgun. So for the forward, back, and forth, the problem, and this is actually for the M1 as well. This is an M1 forend, and the problem really is, and the solution is going to be the same on both of them, right? They move a little up and back, or they move side to side just a little bit, okay? So the first thing that I always think this is that you're missing a ring. There's a set of 4 rings that go into the forends, into the barrel end of the forends, which this is. And I don't know if we're going to be able to see. There's a slot in there. It's right there, and it's on both sides, okay? There's a slot. And what that slot does is it locks all of these forend rings, these washers, into place. So there's 3 kinds of washers, okay? There's 2 washers that are just a simple oval, or not, it's actually a circle, but it's not an oval. And they're flat and they're round, and that's all they are. Then there is a wavy, kind of like a potato chip kind of washer, and I'm watching my screen to make sure I'm giving you the right shot. That's why I'm not looking at the camera. And then there is a locking washer, okay? I want to make sure you can see that. See how that has the outward, the outward feature there is what locks into the slots on the interior of a Benelli M1 and a Benelli M2 forend. And all Benelli M1s and M2s that I'm aware of have these slot features inside there and have the rings, okay? So what happens is somebody takes apart the gun, they clean it, and they get 3 of the rings into place. And they lose a ring somewhere, okay? Years go by, they might notice a little rattle in there. It doesn't affect anything. They just like, whatever. And then they sell it to, to somebody else, or the gun shop or whatever. And, people just live with this. Fortunately, people do call me and find this out, but I figured a video needs to be done. So anyway, these washers, one could be missing. They could be installed in the improper format. So you're missing a washer. Then here at Freedom Fighter Tactical, we sell packs of washers. Can't remember the price right off the top of my head, but I put a link down in the description so that you can jump right to it. But they're inexpensive and they're made for Freedom Fighter Tactical, and they're beautiful washers and they will solve the problem. If you go into your Benelli M1 or M2 and find that you have all 4 washers, but you don't know what order they're supposed to be in, or you buy a set from me and you don't know what order they should be in, first of all, the first one, there's a stacking order, okay? So the first one is the plain round washer that is pretty much featureless, and the second washer is the wavy the potato chip style washer. The third one is the second round non-wavy washer. You see how that kind of creates, I'm trying to put it in front of my face so you can see it. You see how that kind of creates it looks like a spring or a slinky, like a little portion of it. And then the final piece that goes on the outside, on the barrel end, is the locking mechanism that locks all 4 into place, okay? So what you do is you basically can stick them in there one at a time, and they will go right in, and we'll do it right now. Let's see here, because there's a place where they stop. There's a feature inside the forend where they stop. Put the third one in. I mean, it really is this simple. Sometimes it's difficult. They get a little staggered or whatever. Let's see if I can snap that into place. It should make an audible, whoop, and it shot out. Let's see here, let's try it again. There it goes, that snapped into place that time. Okay, so now they're in there. Let's see if you can see them. If I can get a shot where you can see it. You see them in there? That locking mechanism is on the outside. It's kind of blurry. Let me pull it back a little bit. There you go. So they're in there, and it creates a little bit of play on the shotgun. And what this allows is if there's any, there's a lot of parts involved with the forend, okay? So one thing is if there's any difference between, any difference in length, any difference in any of the features of the forend or any of the parts that the forend goes around, there's a little bit of play there that Benelli has to work with. And it allows for different tolerance ranges. And I mean, it also, I think it maybe cushions the blow a little bit. I don't know if that's actually true, but I don't know if that helps with recoil any. I think it would be kind of stretched to say that that does. But to be quite honest with you, aside from maybe variations in the parts, I honestly don't know why they put this there, but they have. But this is in nice and tight, okay? And I'm pushing on it hard and it's not doing anything, okay? It's not moving around. But a lot of people are gonna find that these are loose on their gun on the inside. You can even hear it if all 4 are installed. Sometimes you can take your finger and move it around. Maybe you pop them out and reinstall them to try to eliminate the noise, but you want them tight. You want them to be tight so there's that spring-like effect in them, so that it has kind of a cushion feel to it when you push down on it. And that's how they're supposed to operate. So that's really the number one, probably 99.9999% of the time that you have a loose forend, whether it's side to side or forward to back, it's going to be because the washers are improperly installed or you're missing a washer. The other thing is if you're having this kind of a play and your washers are installed properly, you could have a problem with maybe one of these pieces has broken, maybe one of these pieces has worn out, maybe the forend is just a hair wider, and in one of the features there could be something a little off in the forend that's giving it the side to side or the back and forth. The back and forth should be eliminated through the washers alone, okay? That's been our experience. But the side to side could be a number of things. It could be the part's worn out, which I think is highly unlikely. It could be that a part is broken. I think that one of these features on the inside being broken is highly unlikely, okay? But it's possible. And the other thing is it might have just come out of the mold, and when it cooled off, it's a little bit looser, and that's what you're getting. But in solving this problem for your shotgun, the first thing I would do is take it apart and see if you have 4 washers in there. And one other problem too, washers can be damaged, okay? People take them out, they put them in, they don't do it right, whatever. That wavy one could be damaged. One of the other ones could be bent. So you want to look at that. But in diagnosing this problem, you want to make sure that you have 4 washers inside the forend. The second thing is you want to make sure that they appear to be not damaged. You want to make sure they're installed in the proper order, and then you want to look over the rest of the forend and make sure that there's no broken pieces, cracked pieces, compromised pieces of any sort. And after that, I would say that that's it. After that, I would say that it might have come out of the mold a little bit different than the rest of them, and it's given you a little bit of a fit problem. 9 times out of 10, it's the washers, and it's on a gun that you bought used. And you bought it that way, and the guy who sold it to you didn't know what was going on, and you didn't know what was going on, but it was like, seems to be working fine. Maybe there's a little bit of noise up front, a little bit of rattle from time to time. Maybe it's a little loose fitting, no big deal. It's a great shotgun, and I got a great deal on it. Yes, you did, but you can solve this problem very easily. Links in the bottom of the video here on YouTube that'll take you straight to the forends, straight to the rings. And if you think you need to replace the forend, you get a pack of rings with it. So just factor that in. I think the forends are about $100. They're not cheap. They're nice forends, but the rings might be $16 or $20 somewhere in there. But you get rings with the forend when you buy the forend. So if you think you're going to have to replace the forend, just go ahead and get the forend, and you get the whole package, and you'll be good to go. And that should solve your problem. Thanks for watching this video. I will talk to you in the next one. Take care, folks. Be safe out there.